To a story, in fact, a follow-up to a story we did last week. Last week, when AstraZeneca admitted in a British court that its vaccine, known as Covishield in India, can in rare occasions cause TTS or blood clotting, many had anticipated that this will open a floodgate of litigations across the world. That is exactly what is happening. Today, the question over the vaccine has reached India's Supreme Court. The petitioner in the plea has demanded that an apex panel, an expert panel, must probe the vaccine's side effects, its potential risk, and that the government must provide compensation to those families who've lost their loved ones to the vaccine. The Chief Justice of India has rejected the demand for an early hearing, but has agreed to hear the matter soon. Also initiating legal action against the Serum Institute of India are the parents of a young girl who claim that Covishield killed their daughter. Venugopalan Govindan lost his 20-year-old daughter, Karunya, in 2021. He is joining me on the show. Before I go to him, I want to tell you something. We have sought a response from the Serum Institute of India, the ICMR, and the Health Ministry of India on the charges that Mr. Govindan is making publicly. No response has been forthcoming so far. As and when the three decide to respond, we will put out their responses to the allegations that are about to be made. Mr. Venugopal Govindan, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Can I start by asking you why you claim that Covishield killed your daughter? Because when a government panel investigated her death, they said that wasn't exactly the case.
See, the point is, actually what the government report said is my daughter's death is classified as B1. B1 being actually temporal association exists, but inconclusive evidence of connection to vaccine, within bracket, could be a new vaccine-linked event. This is the full definition of the classification B1. What does it say? It actually says, because we didn't do autopsy for our daughter. So that actually, because of which crucial evidence wasn't there, that part. But everything else is there. And as per United Nations, there is something called Brighton collaboration, which you may be aware of, which is basically for vaccines, they do that. And in that, there is something called AESI, Adverse Event of Special Interest. And in that top of the list is MIS, which is Multisystem Inflammatory Syndrome, which is what my daughter had. So basically, it kind of conclusive, actually. It's conclusive, and government being what it is and authorities being what it is, they would prefer to see the glass as half empty and not as half full. So they are saying half empty. They're not saying it's empty. They're saying half empty. And the media houses say it half empty. They don't say it's half full. But the reality is, it's half full, and we don't have that last evidence, because the autopsy cannot be done to somebody who has been cremated now. So we don't have that piece of evidence. But worldwide, it has been proven, like MIS happens after vaccines. And I've seen her falling sick, and I've seen her being in hospital. I know it is from vaccine. And the doctors have said, many doctors have said, and it is, let's say it's half full, and it's whose responsibility is to conclusively say yes or no. It's again government's responsibility. Why are they not saying? Ask them. Why are they not saying it's not linked to vaccine or linked to vaccine?
Mr. Govindan, in the UK, 51 people have gone to court against AstraZeneca, and for the first time, the pharma giant has actually admitted in court that their vaccine could have rare side effects like blood clotting. Are you going to be approaching courts in India as well?
We have initiated internal discussions among the parents, and a couple of victims are married and their husbands. We have started discussions, and all are in favor of kind of initiating legal action, and the necessary steps for that have already been started. And whether it was influenced by the UK court decision, yeah, the answer is again like my half full or half empty. It is like that. It's like yes and no, because we always wanted to take them to court. But unfortunately for India, now people wake up only when something happens abroad. So that's what has happened now. And so now is the right time to perhaps pursue that further. So we are going to do that. People of this country need justice and protection because, see, please understand one thing, Ms. Shreya. Basically, we are not doing it for anything other than two very important things. One is the deaths which were perpetrated in the most cruel way because healthy people were injected with something they didn't need and that could harm them without being told that this could harm them, and it took away their lives. That's cruel injustice and that must be questioned. That is number one. Number two, the country still has the old systems. It still can do the same thing all over again and kill a lot more people. We want to prevent that from happening. We want to put systemic safeguards so this will not happen again. So for these two purposes, primarily we are doing this.
But has the AstraZeneca admission in court meant anything for you and your cause?
Actually, the reaction for that in Indian press did show, I was pleasantly surprised that in India, at least people have started waking up after I saw the reactions there. So, the various press interest and people, the various, even the vernacular press and the national press, all of them carrying it. So that was a pleasant thing. But the news in itself that AstraZeneca, aka Covishield, can cause and does kill people through blood clots is an old news. It is not even new. In European countries, it happened. In Denmark, it happened first, and then Nordic countries, and then 15 European countries banned it in March, April 2021. Sadly, in India, it was not even published in a big way. People didn't know. And after banning it for many weeks, they age limited and reintroduced it. Actually, age limited in the sense they said people below 45 should not take it. Some countries said people below 60 should not take it. Why? Because the younger age group had more propensity for this blood clots and deaths. But in India, after this happened in March, April 2021, on May 1st, the government opened it up for 18-year-olds. And in April, it opened it up for 45-year-olds. It is a criminal act of the people who advise the government, the bodies that are supposed to guide the government. They failed miserably in their job, whether it is a criminality or negligence, I don't know. I am not competent to say that, but it is a terrible act by these bodies. And the government just towed the line, or whether the government dictated it, I don't know, just to meet some crores and crores of targets, I don't know. But in any case, people were thrown under the bus. So that's what happened, actually. So then the scope of the vaccination widened, and many people, including my daughter, died. And are you aware there are 19 deaths which are admitted by government as vaccine cost in AEFI system,
18.
which has only 2,900 records, and in that 970 are deaths, 1/3 are deaths. So that's the kind of serious numbers we are talking about, which exposes the huge number of deaths and also the very poor capture of data by AFI system, on which people are relying and simply blabbering that there are very few, 1 in a million, 1 in 2 million kind of numbers. That's all coming from this very little number of AFI data.